Yes people, welcome back to the Knots Cave and Happy New Year to you all as well, because this is my first video of 2026. I hope you got everything you wanted for Christmas, all those games you wanted to play, and enough time to play them of course. But today I want to talk to you about a Sega Saturn homebrew game called Vigilant Paradise. This is a really cool first person shooter that I picked up a couple of weeks ago, so I spent a fair bit of time with now. I just wanted to talk to you about this game because I think it's one of the best homebrew games I've played on the Saturn in a long time. So let's have a look at Vigilant Paradise. Welcome to the City of Paradise. The city of calm, the city of beauty, the city where nothing bad ever happens. Or does it? Vigilant Paradise is a homebrew low-poly first-person shooter for the Sega Saturn set in the fictional city of Paradise. The game was created over a 5-year period by developer Riccardo Campioni using the Joe engine for Sega Saturn and published on itch.io about a month ago under his Play Nautic label. Vigilant Paradise is available to buy now over on itch.io for $12 or just over £9 for us Brits. I will drop a link in the video's description for anyone who wants to check the game out. Trust me, it's definitely worth it. Vigilant Paradise is presented in a very charming low poly graphical style with lots of detail, vibrant colours and clear textures. The game runs at an uncapped frame rate, which in my experience never chugs along or slows down to the point that the game becomes unplayable at any point. The game also automatically optimises itself depending on if it's in a 50 or 60Hz console, though the gameplay is slightly slower if you're playing on a PAL machine. For the sake of this video I was using a Mark II Japanese Sega Saturn and a Saru cartridge to run the game, and I ran into no problems bar the occasional crash, though I'm not sure how well it performs using other methods. The main story of Vigilant Paradise centres around two renegade plainclothed policemen, Vince and Paolo, who were put on forced vacation in the city of Paradise after accumulating too much overtime at work. When out of the blue on their vacation they suddenly become mixed up in the business of a citywide crime ring. The game's story sees our two heroes dragged around the city and surrounding islands of Paradise on a wild and sometimes comical adventure together, from shootouts at the local resort to being chased around the Bay Area by criminals on jet skis, and even using infiltration cyborgs to root out the criminal gang and save Paradise City from the criminal cabal.
City of Paradise. It's a beautiful city you have here.
Vigilant Paradise has well over 15 minutes of in-engine 3D cutscenes, all voiced over with some great humour thrown in for good measure. We have cyber pirates trying to sell you counterfeit jeans in the Bay Area.
You look like a pair of free scalawags. You'd be interested in some counterfeit jeans.
And a saxophone player attacking you with laser drones at a casino.
Allow me to improve. How's about with a laser show?
And even a showdown on a luxury yacht against a giant cyborg seagull. Vigilant Paradise is chock full of humorous moments and set pieces. Along the way, Vince and Paolo manage to upset the mayor of Paradise City in a variety of different ways, often with comical outcomes.
You clowns! Where am I going to get my $10 Parmigiano lunch special now?
At the beginning of the game you get to choose between either Vince or Paolo, with each character having different story paths to take and access to different weapon loadouts along the way. So it's advised to play through the campaign as both characters so you can see all that the game has to offer. One example is a level where Vince and Paolo infiltrate a casino to rescue hostages. And after the initial shootout at the beginning of the stage, they split up and Vince has to hunt down and save hostages inside the casino's hotel rooms, while Paolo's level sees you tracking down more hostages in the giant hedge maze in the casino's courtyard. I must confess I did spend the best part of an hour trying to navigate the maze and get to the exit with enough health to finish the level. This one was a real challenge and I got lost so many times it was embarrassing. Another example is later in the game where enemies are attempting to blow up the storm water drainage plant and Vince has to snipe enemies from above in a helicopter, while Paolo infiltrates the stormwater drainage system at ground level to prevent the criminals from blowing it up. And possibly one of my favourite parts of the game is on the second stage, where it sees you being chased around the bay of Paradise City by armed criminals on jet skis, as you attempt to hunt down the cyber pirate and put an end to his counterfeit gene business. After fighting off an army of jet ski madmen, you finally track down the cyber pirate for the level's boss fight.
You're trapped now, mateys.
Only to have him circle in your boat throwing pairs of exploding genes at you. Class. This part of the game was boatloads of fun and had me in stitches while I was trying to play it. The accents on the pirate just had me going. Mateys. I won't give any more of the game's story away for those of you watching who want to try the game out, but believe me, it's a very fun romp and has lots of comical moments.
Oh, mateys.
Though Vigilant Paradise doesn't make use of the Saturn's 3D controller, the game controls surprisingly well just using the standard pad. The D-pad is used to move you forwards, backwards and strafe left and right. The A and B buttons are used to turn you left and right. And after only a few minutes of play, I was used to them with no problems. The shoulder buttons are used for shooting. C crouches, which is used to improve your aim, but does slow your movement down, so be careful when crouching. X reloads. And Y is used to either conceal your weapon or change between guns if you have more than one in your loadout. And the Z button comes in really useful for doing a quick 180 turn when those criminals are sneaking up on you. But by the time you finish the game's introduction stage in the shooting range, you will be more than used to the controls and the slower pace at which this game plays. The gameplay itself is rather slow and methodical, so those of you looking for a fast-paced Doom-style first-person shooter may be a little bit disappointed. With Vigilant Paradise, the idea of the game is to take things more slow and anticipate the enemy's movements before engaging them, as you only have a limited amount of health, and health pickups are quite sparse. So be warned, if you find some health and don't really need it, then leave it for later on, as you may need to backtrack and use it if things go south later in the level. Once you've completed the main game though, with both Vince and Paolo, you get access to a hidden bonus level, where Vince and Paolo take their dates to an arcade and play on a game which plays a lot like an on-rail shooter. The idea is to hit as many of the floating stars as possible and attempt to get the highest score and impress your girl. Once again, both Vince and Paolo have different stages here to try out, and they are rather short, but it's a great little bonus addition to an already great homebrew game. The version of Vigilant Paradise I played for this video was version 1.0, which did have a few bugs resulting in the game crashing a few times, but since making this video, Riccardo has addressed the feedback from players on itch.io and implemented a new patch, version 1.001, which rids the game of many, if not all, of these bugs. I haven't tried it out myself yet, but I do look forward to giving the game another go. Overall, Vigilant Paradise is a very impressive and ambitious homebrew game for the Sega Saturn. Though it can be completed in only a few hours, the game has plenty of charm and is definitely worth playing through a few times. The game's developer Riccardo Campioni spent 5 years and many late nights working on Vigilant Paradise, and from what I can tell it was a solo effort, which makes the game even more of an impressive feat on the Sega Saturn. I thoroughly enjoyed Vigilant Paradise and hope to see more from Riccardo in the future, and for those of you wanting to check the game out, I'll leave a link in the description so you can check it out from there. Thanks for watching guys, take care and we'll see you next time.